for our today's special value. One of my favorite products that Rastelli's brings to us as a today's special value, the only time we're doing this the entire year, it's their premium pork ribeye steaks, plus the butter, which is really new and exciting. But really, it's about the pork ribeye. This is not a pork chop. So erase that from your mind right out the gate, because look at that juiciness. Look how tender it is. Look how thick it is. Hand trimmed end to end, which means you are eating this end to end. The flavor, the flavor, the flavor. Hi, Ray Rastelli.
Hello, Julia. How are you? Good to see you.
Oh, I always love to see you so much. And you know, do you remember the first time I had these? Because I do.
Yes.
I will never forget it.
Speechless.
I was speechless,
yes,
because the flavor that comes from these. Look, your favorite steak is the ribeye steak.
That's
when we're
right.
talking about beef. This is the same idea. This is coming from the most premium part of the pork, the pig, and it is marbled throughout, fork tender as you see, but truly bursts with flavor. Brand new today. As you know, a today's special value is a value that is good for today and today only. Now, while he cooks it up, and I can't wait to eat it because it smells so good, and we're going to give you a ton of ways to prepare this, but honestly, on its own, there's so much flavor. You don't need to dress it up, but you can. We have great ideas. You can get 10 of them home. 10 of them comes home for a price of $59.98, or double that up without doubling the price. That's the beauty of a today's special value. Now for 20 of them, $99.98 and a $25 easy pay. There is auto delivery here every 60 days for a year, because you're going to fall in love with these and stock your freezer. And by the way, they come individually vacuum sealed, so it's really easy to find nooks and crannies within your freezer, which I just did last night when when mine arrived. I found a spot for every single one of those pork ribeye steaks, and I have 2 of them out defrosting as we speak. I'm super excited, and what's really great is it comes with butters as well. So 2 butter, you get 1 of each flavor. When you pick up the 10, you get 2 of each flavor, and we'll go through all those flavors in just a moment. So you choose 10 count, 20 count, stock up and save nearly $20 there. Then you choose your ship week. It ships now. It ships the week of August 26th or the week of September 23rd. Lock in auto delivery. It's super smart when you do, because you lock in today's special value price, and you lock in today's special value easy pay. So it's a perfect way to keep a good thing coming. This is M98095 to get shopping. Share your story. Give us a call if you love all things Rastelli's, as we all do, considering it is QVC's #1 food brand. And Ray Rastelli, the man, the myth, the legend himself, is here with us to walk us through.
It is so good to be here with you, and this is really, really special. This is not a pork chop you're going to find in a supermarket or in a grocery store. This is a premium pork ribeye, right? They don't cut these in markets. In fact, they don't come from the kind of farmers that we utilize, which are right here in the Pennsylvania Dutch country.
Right.
I want you to see how big this is. That's 6 ounces. What you're going to notice, there is no fat on here. There is no bone on here. There's no gristle here. And when you cut through this, my knife, first of all, is just going to glide right through it. And you don't really need a knife. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But if you look at the juiciness, have you ever had a pork chop that gave you this kind of juice out of it?
Never.
Now, this one doesn't have any butter on it. I wanted you to see the natural juices that are actually in each one of these pork ribeyes. Now, we call it a steak because I like treating it just like a steak. But Julia, if you want to make it as a pork chop, you go ahead and do that. You can bread it and shake it and bake it and do whatever you'd like to do with it. And yes, but what you're really going to notice is if you take a look at this chop, I'm going to put the knife down because I really don't need it.
Nope.
But this steak, I can go right through the very center of this pork steak with a fork. Now, this is what everyone is amazed with. How do you get a pork steak or a pork chop that is going to be that tender? Well, you do it when you start with premium pork from the Pennsylvania Dutch country. You know who your producers are. You know who all the farmers are that you've been working with for 48 years. And that's what is so important in a butcher shop. When you come into a butcher shop, you're talking to a butcher who knows what you're getting and where it comes from.
I mean, we trust you as our source, and we trust that you always pick the finest sources for us, the most premium sources of where you source all of your meats, and in this case, Pennsylvania Dutch country. How long has your butcher shop been open?
48 years.
48 years.
Yes.
And how long have you been here at QVC?
About 9 years now.
Number
years.
one food brand here at QVC. Now, all of you are jumping on the immediate ship date already, and you're getting the 10 count. But I'm just going to say, you might want to go ahead and pick up that 20 count, because once you see all the versatility, you're going to be amazed of how this works in your kitchen and your normal menus. Here's your shop right here.
Yes, and actually in the butcher shop, I'm actually cutting some pork ribeye steaks there. They are the #1 seller in our butcher shop. It's also our #1 pork item here at QVC, and there's a reason for it, because nothing compares to this. Once you try these pork ribeye steaks, you're going to realize you've never had a real pork chop or pork steak before. And here's the reason why. We start with a prime rib of pork. That's what this is. This is a prime rib. Now, unlike beef, we do not age this. We want to get this right from the farmers. We want to actually get it in the hands of our butchers. We trim every ounce of fat off of this. We take the bone off of this and any sinew. Then we actually take that center of that ribeye and cut them into these beautiful steaks. Now, what I want you to notice in these steaks is the marbling. If you see that marbling, that's what makes the ribeye my favorite beef steak. It's what makes it my favorite pork steak as well. That is going to be tender, juicy, and full of flavor when you bite into it. That I can guarantee you.
And look at the size. They're the
They
perfect
are big.
portion, 6 ounces each.
There's 38 grams of protein in that one steak, and it's only 230 calories. So, you know, from a standpoint of the other white meat, it really, really works well for you.
You really feel good about incorporating it. If you are feeling that meal fatigue that so many of us do, making the same thing over and over and over, this is going to blow everything out of the water because the flavor is so spectacular. It works out to be with the 10 count, $5.99 each, or if you get the 20 count with that stock up and save, it's only $4.99. And I want you to realize, you're not going to find this in any grocery store. You're not. Will you find it in a restaurant? I've never seen it in a restaurant. Maybe
you might find it in a restaurant, but very, very rarely. And if you do, if you do, it's going to cost like a steak will cost, because that's the quality that you're getting. You know, a great prime rib of beef gives you a ribeye steak. Well, a prime rib of pork gives you this pork steak. Nothing like anything you've ever had before. But this is what I love most about it,
this
Julia.
is really cool.
So these are the steaks I cut, but look at the different things we can do. We talked about versatility, and we're going to show you some things that we can do here. But I want you to also know that you can go to QVC.com, our product page. I've done a how-to video on every one of these items, how to cut it, how to prepare it, and it's simple and it's easy, because as a butcher, I'm trying to make things really easy. I'm not a chef, but everything comes out so incredibly delicious and versatile. So when you see how I can take this steak and turn it into something I can make a pork fried steak or a caprese with, something I can make a barbecue rib with, fajitas with, kebabs, pork fajitas, kebabs. Here I've got some Asian-inspired pork bites. You can do anything with this that you might have done with chicken or veal, except this is going to be a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Speaking of, can I try some?
Of course.
It's been a while. I came hungry. I didn't have breakfast. I didn't have lunch. I knew I started at 1, and this was my first show, and this was the first thing in the show, and I got really excited.
So I'm going to give you a piece with the fork with the garlic butter.
Okay. So this is one of the new butters
This is one of the new butters here. Here's a fork right here. So you can try that. That's got a little bit of the garlic parm butter on top. Yes.
Oh, that butter.
Isn't that incredible?
But the butter is a perfect complement to this pork ribeye steak, because it, like, the flavor, it just pops in your mouth.
Yes.
That meaty, porky flavor, but like to an extra degree that you've never had before.
It warms you. It really does. It's wonderful for some recipes that we're going to show you how to incorporate that. Now here I've got actually the cinnamon brown sugar.
Cinnamon brown sugar.
So this one is really wonderful. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this with a fork because we can. All right. And you can try that one.
So this is what, cinnamon brown butter?
That's cinnamon brown sugar. Yeah. It's a natural with pork. It's just, it just bursts with flavor. It's natural. It goes with many of the recipes that you're going to see us make here today.
Oh my gosh. This is what I love about pork. The versatility. You can go savory. You can go sweet. You can go Italian. You can go Asian influence. You really have permission to play when you have something this premium. Now, before we move on to some demos, can I just try it on its own?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you one of these pieces here that has nothing on it other than the premium pork. And again, I'm just going to use the fork to cut it because we can do that. So there you go. Right?
Look at that. No fat, no gristle. You eat this end to end.
That
Because it's
is
hand
right.
trimmed. That's the
Yes.
Rastelli's way.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it? It's so
it
moist.
melts in your mouth.
Yes. You know, everyone that
really good.
everyone that tries this goes crazy about it because they never realize
So good.
pork could be this good. This pork only needs to be cooked to 145 degrees. And when you do that, you know what you get?
What?
You get this moisture, you get this tenderness, you get this texture
juicy.
out of it. And every bite, I promise you and I guarantee, will be as good as the last bite.
You know, I grew up with a misconception about pork. My mom didn't really bring it into the house very often. I don't think she really knew how to work with it, how to cook it. And when she did, no offense, Mom, I know you're probably watching, saw me, close your ears for a minute. It was kind of dry.
Yeah, well,
it was a little boring.
yeah, and it
was a
wasn't
little,
really Mom.
mealy.
It was the kind of pork.
It was the kind of pork.
Right,
so we
right.
didn't have it very often. But when you have this kind of pork, so premium, this is something unbelievable, will wow you, will blow you away, and Mom will love it, the kids will love it, and the versatility. Are you making tacos?
I am, and look at this. This is one pork ribeye steak. All I did was slice them nice and thin for fajitas, or for tacos, for quesadillas. But I want you to see, one of the things that's important today, and I love bringing this to our guests, is showing you ways to be able to stretch your product, stretch your meals, right? So look at that. That is from one pork ribeye steak, a little bit of cheese on top. We're going to squeeze a little bit of lime on there, right? And I will tell you that once your family tries this, they're just going to be amazed at how great a cook you are. And this took me really about 5 minutes in that skillet. So that's a simple, easy one that works all the time.
Just on its own, it feels like it's been marinated overnight.
Yes, it
just
does.
on its own, without adding any seasoning, without adding any sauces. You do get the butters, which is really exciting, kind of jumpstart you. This is how they come, either 10 or 20 of them. Remember, there is that stock up and save. At the 10 count, this is $5.99. At the 20 count, it's $4.99. And you can see the sheer size, you can see that beautiful marbling, and you can tell that this is a piece that you will eat every last inch of it because it's just that good. And you're gonna find all these great ways to use it. Let me just remind you, this is what it looks like. 10 count right here, 20 count right there. These are the butters. It was a brown sugar, cinnamon, and a garlic parmesan.
Yes.
If you get the 20 count, you get 2 of each of those flavors. But please pick this up. It is so good. Pick your ship week, and the ship weeks are, because I can't read it that far away, either right now, the week of August 26th, or the week of September 23rd. I'm telling you right now, auto delivery this up. You can always cancel auto delivery, but you're not going to want to, because when you get the auto delivery every 60 days for a year, this shows up. It's ready for you, whether you grill it, whether you saute it, whether you bake it, however you want to play with it, because again, this gives you permission to play with all of its versatility.
Simple. Here's our spare ribs, and I wanted to do this because I think it's so simple. You just take that pork steak, which I did here. I sliced this into 4 pieces. You can slice it into 5 pieces. It's entirely up to you. I covered this with some barbecue sauce. And you know what I'm going to do? All I'm going to do is drop it on a grill.
Okay.
These will be the most...
I love that sound.
Yes, these will be the most incredible boneless ribs that you ever had. Your guests are going to wonder, how'd you get them so incredibly tender? And of course, in literally minutes, I've got these beautiful ribs that I'm plating here. I've got, this is one. So I want you to see how far, again, one of these goes. That's one of them. Look at how
a lot of bites.
Much that is. So, you know, again, it's trimmed from end to end. It's beautiful premium pork from the Pennsylvania Dutch
for either
area.
$4 or $5.99, depending. I have a phone call, and then I want to see what Chris Menzero has coming up over
Chris
here,
has
because
got some great
I'm really
ideas
excited.
over there.
But Lila is calling us. She just ordered these. But Lila, did you have these for dinner last night?
Yes, we did, and I was fretting because I thought, oh my God, we're running out. We got to get them again. Now I'm smart, and I did auto delivery.
Oh,
that's
good.
smart.
Ray, all your stuff. I get your meatballs. I get your steaks. I get your fillets. I get your seafood. This is the best pork ribeye I've ever had. I've never had a pork chop that was so flavorful, tender, not dry. I can't say enough, Ray. This is unbelievable, and I'm so glad I got it on auto delivery now.
Thank you so much. You know, it's wonderful to hear, and I love that you've got so many of our different products in your freezer. But do you have any special way you like to prepare this?
Ray, I'm not a good cook like you, or your daughter-in-law, or your son. So I just did it on the pan, and
Yes.
it was. I didn't dry it out a bit. It was like you said. You could cut it with a fork. And I'm sorry to say, some of us wanted one and a half of them. One wasn't going to be enough because we loved it so much, and we have a salad with it. Done.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
that is simple, and I love keeping it that simple. Really, that's what sitting down and asking your question, "What's for dinner tonight?" That's how simple you just made that. What's for dinner tonight, right?
It was funny. It was last